How's it going, guys? Welcome to Ambro's Landscaping YouTube channel. In today's video, we are talking about whether or not robotic mowers are the future of lawn care. Next to me, I got the Husqvarna Automower 430x that Husqvarna sent me. Now, I installed this in my yard a couple weeks ago, and so far, I've actually been pretty impressed with the results that this little guy can put out. Granted, it's only in a small portion of my yard, but the numbers of what this thing can do is pretty impressive. So I started thinking about actually installing these in a few of my condos, at least my high-end condos. And I was starting to think about the pros and cons of me installing it and the effect it has on me, my employee, and also my clients. So I wanted to discuss whether or not this is actually the future of lawn care and if it's a good investment for business. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's talk about why I'm looking at installing these. And so 3 of my condos are starting to lean more towards going green. So recently there's been a lot of talk about us not using pesticides or herbicides like Roundup for spraying, and they're wanting us to go more organic. So slowly seeing that, eventually that's going to start turning the ball, and eventually we're going to start leaning to being more forced and looked upon to going towards green and using battery powered equipment. So the reason why I'm looking at installing these in 3 of my condos would be, the biggest one is savings per month. So adding up how many hours per week that we mow at the 3 condos, plus the gas that we would use there, as well as the upkeep on the mowers, I'd be saving at least over $1,000 per month, which doesn't sound, well, actually that is quite a bit, but that's just over 3 condos. And so eventually, within about 2 years, we would actually make the money back that we would invest in on these mowers. So when it comes to the maintenance on these, I'm not quite sure exactly what the cost per year are. I highly doubt that it's as much as a regular zero turn, mostly because you don't have the big tires, especially if you get flash. You don't have all the fuel changes of your hydros, which depends on how much you're mowing. Is it really that much? Your oil filters, your blades that you go through, and of course all the other stuff. So of course the maintenance costs on these typically aren't too much. The only thing is, of course, the mechanical part is that if these go out, you're basically done. But luckily, to replace these would not be that much compared to replacing a whole new zero turn. So not only is it savings per month, but of course there's a lot of benefits of using these mowers compared to zero turns at places like our condos. One of the greatest things is, of course, the hours saved per week that we would be mowing, we can spend elsewhere, either in the condo or on other job sites. So the amount of hours, say if it's about a 5-6 hour mowing day, which it typically is, consistent mowing, we can be spending those hours now either keeping up on the hedge trimming or keeping up on the fertilizing or doing extra work around the condos. So we're bringing in more income while these are taking over other jobs, like clearly the mowing. The one great thing about these is that I have all the control of them from my cell phone, which is pretty amazing. So I can send all my mowers out through my phone, at least through Husqvarna. I don't know how steel products work, but at least through Husqvarna, I can send all the mowers out to go mow. I can tell them when to come back, and I can adjust the height. I can see where they are. They have anti-theft device on them, which is nice, which I don't want to lift it up right now because it's really loud. But in the future video, we'll be doing that. One of the benefits of using these things compared to a traditional zero turn is, of course, the weight. So you're not getting really bad soil compaction. That is really nice, to where you're not having to, I guess, aerate as much. So it's one of those benefit savings for, I guess, you can pass on to your clients because you're not having to do it as often. And of course, with that, this mower also mulches all the time. So you're getting healthy nutrients back into the ground, and of course you're not cutting once a week where it's like this long. You're only cutting when it's just a little bit at a time, so it's small pieces to where you're not getting those clumps, especially if it starts to rain, which is also another beneficial feature. Is that whether or not these can mow in the rain, I'm not quite sure. Eventually, I'm sure the technology will get there where this can mow into almost anything unless it floods. But that is also one thing that's nice. And of course, as we all know, employees, they call out sick, and they call out drunk, and they call out for whatever other reasons you guys have experienced. I don't want to know the stories. But what's nice is that these things can't necessarily call out. They can go out, but they can't necessarily call out. So if you guys have employees that aren't showing up on time and aren't reliable, that's what's nice about these things. And that's kind of the reason why a couple of years ago I was potentially thinking about them even at that time, was because I was having a hard time finding reliable employees that would show up and that I would get stuck doing all the work. And of course, per month, these things aren't really using that much electricity, which is also one of the other beneficial features, is that, you know, a lot of clients don't hear the noise because, you know, these things charge automatically, but because the noise is so quiet, you can run these at any time of the day or night. I actually ran this at night, and with the headlights off, it's absolutely creepy because you just hear this grinding and you have no idea what's going on because you can't see this thing. But having the ability to mow at any time of the night is extremely beneficial. I already knew I was going to hear this. Another big drawback of using these mowers is you don't get the lawn striping. And I know a lot of guys, especially in the Midwest, it's all about that lawn striping. Up here, it's not popular at all. My clients would perfectly rather see a nice green flat lawn than stripes. A lot of them don't even know what the heck lawn striping is. I have to explain it to them. That's the thing that you see on baseball fields, and they still don't get it. So that is one of the things. Of course, like I said, where the technology is and where it's planning on going, eventually we will probably see mowers that can do striping. But the way that these guys work is that they don't do straight lines. They actually do like an insane, crazy pattern that kind of covers the whole entire property. So you're probably most likely not going to see that, maybe eventually in the future, but as of right now, no lawn striping, guys. One of the things that I'm most afraid of is my clients are condo associations going out and buying these themselves. So what's the point of hiring a lawn care company like myself when they can go buy these and these can maintain the grass? And so then they're hiring us strictly for weed whacking, hedge trimming, fertilizing, and all the other kind of stuff. So that's one of the biggest negatives that I at least thought about a couple of days ago that kind of scared me a little bit, wondering where my clients, because of course not all of them are going to want to go out and have to maintenance these things, but some of them actually might, because depending on how much the maintenance is and what it requires, could be pretty beneficial to them, where they're saving quite a bit of money not having to pay us for maintaining these things. So kind of curious about that. That's actually probably my biggest concern, whether or not the clients will look at us saying like, well, we can go and buy these and install them ourselves, so there's no point of having you. Kind of a big drawback, but we'll figure it out later. So I would love to hear your guys' opinion about what you guys think of robotic mowers, what you think the future of lawn care is looking like. I kind of spilled out my opinions pretty well. Hopefully I kept this video short. I might have to edit it down a little bit. But please let me know down in the comments down below of what you guys think. Be sure to take this poll up here of what you guys think of robotic mowers. And I would love to hear your feedback. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and be sure to stay tuned for the review of this mower as well as plenty of other products. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on Ambro Landscaping.